Hi everybody and welcome to Motoroids. My name's Guru and I'm driving the Tata Altroz Racer around the Coast Performance Racetrack here in Coimbatore. Been an exhilarating experience and I can't wait to share more about the car and the other details with you. For the most part, the Altroz Racer is similar to the regular Altroz variants, so please review our earlier Altroz reviews for any topics that we don't cover or repeat in this video. So what really makes the Altroz Racer a racer? The Altroz Racer is now powered by a Nexon spec 1.2-litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 118 horsepower, which we will round off to 120 bhp, at 5500 rpm and a healthy 170 Newton meters of torque between 1750 and 4000 rpm. The gearbox doing duty in the Racer is a 6-speed manual transmission and there are no AT options at launch. Tata Motors will not comment on the prospect of a torque converter or DCT variant down the line. The Hyundai i20 comes with both manual and DCT automatic options. Also new to the Altroz lineup is the introduction of 360 surround camera. When you push this button here, which is to the right side of the steering wheel, and you can see the display here, it shows you the 360 view. There are several modes in this, 2D as well as 3D, which has a pretty cool video game kind of feel, and you can interact with the screen in this manner and have a very good look and a clear view of your surroundings. And if anybody is walking very close to the car, you get these audible and visible alerts to let you know so that you can be more careful when you're reversing or moving away from a parking spot. So we showed you the 360 view inside the car, and that's enabled by these cameras. This is the one placed up front and it's new to the Altroz lineup. It's right under the Tata Motors logo. You have one on either side of the wing mirrors, very neatly integrated to the underside of the side view mirrors. In the other versions of the Altroz, the rear camera is somewhere here, right under the logo, but in this car, because of the 360 view, it is placed over here just above the number plate. To round it off, on the driver's side mirror as well, you have a neatly integrated side camera. Well, right up front you can see that there is a Racer badge placed above the front wheel arch, and also new to the Altroz is this rather well appointed side skirt, which adds to the sporty element of the car. If you move to the back, you'll find the rear spoiler. There are rear spoilers in the other models as well, but in the Racer, it's quite a bit bigger compared to the other cars. The rear fog lamp, which used to feature in the center of the rear bumper, is gone, replaced by a piece of black trim. The Racer also sports an iTurbo Plus badge. Why not just add a Racer badge here as well? And the Altroz Racer comes with a shark fin antenna, which looks a heck of a lot sportier than the usual antenna just sticking out over there like a sore thumb. And on the other side as well, you have the side skirt to give it a very nice sporty look. And the exhaust of the Altroz Racer is engineered to deliver an exciting exhaust note, and which it clearly does. If you come in closer, I'm just going to rev the engine for you and you'll be able to hear this exhaust sound. Unfortunately, no microphone is going to do justice to the sound of this exhaust. And if there ever was a reason to pull you guys into the showroom to check out this car, I would say that just go there to hear this exhaust. It's pretty special. And just to make sure that nobody mistakes it for anything else, the Racer comes with these two white, bold racing stripes which start all the way at the back and up to the front, and the hood is also painted in black. And up front, the Altroz Racer has an aggressive looking grille and front splitter. I don't think this is a new unit though. A more pronounced body kit would have been welcome to differentiate it from the rest of the Altroz lineup. And the Altroz Racer also comes with these R16 wheels, which are diamond cut alloy wheels in a glossy black, and they look pretty awesome on this car. I just wish that the brake calipers had been painted red or even orange to match the overall theme of the car. And the wheels are shod with 185/60 R16 MRF EcoTread tires. Yes, Eco tires on a racer spec car. Surely a more grippy tire would have been a differentiator from the rest of the lineup or the competition. A better tire would have resulted in better performance and feel, complementing the racer badge, but it is what it is. So the headlights up front are projector headlamps, and they are halogen. The only LED elements here are the LED DRLs, which are placed over here. Everything else is halogen. The good bits about the Altroz are these ridiculously wide opening doors, open almost 90 degrees, and that's something which is very unusual and rather special because it makes ingress and egress quite easy in this car. Moving inside, if you can come here, you'll see that the Racer has these bespoke leatherette seats. This is the R3, the top end version, which also comes with ventilated seats. And the button to operate the ventilated seats is right here. To maintain consistency with the brand, which is the Altroz Racer, you will find orange highlights all over the interiors as well as on the seats. The seats are finished in this orange stitching, and they have these leather stripes over here, orange, white and orange, which continues from the seat down into the floor carpets as well. Another nice touch is the Racer logo, which is embroidered into the front headrest. The steering wheel is wrapped in leather, and it is also finished with the orange color, which is specific to the brand. These orange accents that you see are common across all three colors: Avenue White and Pure Grey. Yes, this is an orange colored car, but even the white and the grey both have these same orange colored accents inside. The Tata Altroz Racer is priced between 9.5 to 11 lakhs. The i20 N line is priced between 10.2 to 11.4 lakhs for the dual-tone manual transmission variants. The Altroz Racer comes with another convenience, which is the height adjustable front seats. Only the driver's side is height adjustable. Only the driver's side window gets one touch up and down convenience. You won't find any UV cut glass on the Altroz Racer. The IRVM is not auto-dimming. The Altroz Racer comes with a 26.03 centimeter or a 10-inch touchscreen. This also has wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. The R2 and R3 variants of the Racer get the new 7-inch fully digital instrument cluster. This display is pretty busy, and there's a learning curve to remember which information appears where. The prominent Sport mode icon takes up room for no reason, as there is no other driving mode available in the Racer variant. The instrument cluster is certainly usable, but could do with some firmware updates to optimize the layout and font sizes. When I see the quality of the cameras and the experience of the 360-degree camera feed with blind spot alerts, it makes me wonder why the vastly more expensive Jimny, which I own, has such a rubbish reverse camera. Well done, Tata. The rear seats in the Altroz Racer are also finished in leatherette, and while they look like they may be ventilated, they are not. And you also get Isofix child seat mounts on both sides. The rear bench is wide enough to seat 3, and even the person who sat in the middle has a 3-point seat belt and not just a lap belt. The Altroz Racer also has rear AC vents and a USB socket for charging your phone, and a small slot here where you can place your phone while it's charging. The floor carpets also feature the same Altroz Racer theme, and another point is that the floor is essentially flat without too much of a hump over here in the middle, which makes it very comfortable for the person who sat in the middle seat. The rear seat bench is a single unit. No 60-40 split, which would have been a differentiator from the competition. That said, the enormous 345-litre boot should take care of most of your travel luggage space requirements. Inside the boot, you have hooks provided here, 3-kilo hooks on either side. This one is on the right, and you have another one on the left to hang bags and groceries and stuff. Tata is well known for prioritizing safety of its automobiles, and the Altroz Racer comes with 6 airbags as standard across all variants. You have side curtain airbags, which extend all the way from the front to the rear. You have the airbags in the front, for the driver and the passenger. You can also disable the passenger side airbag if you are traveling with a child strapped into the front seat. And there are also airbags provided in the seat, which run alongside the door and work in conjunction with the curtain airbags which run from the top. Another convenience feature is this hook provided here in the passenger side footwell, where you can hang a bag or an umbrella. And the Altroz Racer comes with this amazing sound system powered by JBL. The Altroz Racer sound system features 4 pairs of woofer and tweeter speakers for a total of 8 speakers. It is crazy just how good OEM sound systems have become over the last 10 years. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty amazing actually. It's a pretty hot day today in Coimbatore, and I'm so glad that this Altroz Racer comes with the ventilated seats. This is the top-end R3 version, which has the ventilated seats. You will get the ventilated seats and air purifier only in the top-end version. R2 and R1, which are the lower-end variants, don't get this feature, but it is still first-in-segment feature. The air conditioner in the Altroz Racer is a climate control unit and did a very decent job in the hot conditions in Coimbatore today. I tried out the Express Cool feature, which would come in handy if you park outdoors during the day. The Express Cool button is the one with the fast-forward kind of icon on the left of the AC on-off button. Below the AC controls, you get a Type A USB, a Type C USB, and a 12-volt charging socket. Below that, you get the wireless charging pad, but only in the R2 and R3 variants. The Altroz Racer also has a sunroof, because that's all the rage in India at the moment. And to make it even more cool, and a party trick is that it's now voice activated. So I can just hold down this button here on the steering wheel and say something like, "Show me the sun."
Sure, opening sunroof.
And I can also say, "Close the sunroof."
Okay, closing.
It's too hot to keep that open. The Altroz Racer also comes with height adjustable seat belts, which is good if you are either a very tall passenger or driver or a very short passenger or driver. You can adjust it to suit your requirements. The Altroz Racer comes with what I think is a new gear knob, and it definitely has a new gearbox, which is the 6-speed manual transmission. There is no automatic provided in the Altroz Racer, and I think that's a good thing. There are plenty of automatic cars that you can choose to buy, and it's becoming rare now to find a real enthusiast driving car. And yes, this is a hot hatch, or a warm hatch if you'd like to call it that. But the gear shifts are super slick. The throws are quite short and very precise. And it has a 6-speed as well. And it has a dogleg reverse, so there is a small latch here on the gear knob underneath. You need to pull that latch up and then shift it over into reverse. Lovely gearbox, and anybody who's a manual gearbox enthusiast is going to enjoy driving this car. I did try to do a 0 to 100 test, but the clutch pedal got in the way of the fun. The clutch itself is light, but the pedal travel is so long and the bite point comes in quite late as you release the clutch. I don't know if this is because of the abuse from other media houses over the past few days, or if this is just how it is out of the box. Regardless, this clutch does not complement the gearbox and the engine, and should be replaced with a shorter travel clutch which offers more feel. Enthusiastic getaways and shifts are jerky because of this clutch. I'm sure that if I had time to really drive and get used to it, I could find the sweet spot, but it is what it is. Yes, the Altroz is a sporty car. It's designed to perform on the track, on the highway, and on good roads. But somehow it manages to be reasonably comfortable on these bad roads as well. These unpaved bits of road which are yet to be surfaced. The car is quite comfortable. And the ride quality is pretty good even on these bumpy roads, and I'm doing about 40 kilometers per hour, and it's coping quite well. It's not super uncomfortable or rough. For a race car which has its suspension tuned a little bit, because the car did get heavier when they added the sunroof, the ventilated seats, when they added the 6-speed manual transmission and the Nexon engine, which is the 1.2 liter 120 horsepower, 170 Newton meter torque engine. So all these elements ended up adding a bit of weight to the car compared to the other Altroz versions. And the suspension has been stiffened and tuned to compensate for that weight. Despite that, it still maintains, a feature of the car which the Altroz is known for, which is the amazing ride quality. It is still a very good and very comfortable riding car even on bad roads. Map me to Kari Motor Speedway.
Kari Motor Speedway racetrack is 44 minutes from your location by car in light traffic.
So the Altroz iTurbo had a 110 horsepower engine, which was powerful enough, but not quite there. It had 130 Newton meters of torque. So this new version inherits the engine directly from the Nexon. So it's 120 horsepower and 170 Newton meters of torque. That puts it directly in the firing line of the Hyundai i20 N-Line, which incidentally also has 120 horsepower and 172 Newton meters of torque. The suspension in the Altroz Racer is identical to the other cars. It's not a special suspension. The only difference is that it's been tuned slightly to compensate for the weight, the additional weight of the full Nexon engine, 6-speed manual transmission, the ventilated seats, and other small add-ons that have added a little bit more to the weight. But other than that, it's not a special track-focused or enthusiast-focused suspension, but the Altroz already had a pretty sporty suspension setup. So it still drives brilliantly. It's very sharp on the road. Change of directions, brilliant. Not barely any body roll in the middle of high-speed corners. We did some cornering at the track, driving at pretty crazy speeds around these corners, and there was no body roll. Another amazing aspect of this Altroz Racer, which you will love when you go to the showrooms and get your hands on, is the steering wheel. It just feels so right. It is lightweight at slow speeds, and the electronic power assist has been tuned to way up as you go faster. It feels natural, and that's not something you would normally say about an EPS steering wheel. Hydraulic steering wheels had a certain kind of feel, and this is the closest that I have come to experiencing something like that from an EPS. And it feels beautiful on the track. The brakes on the Altroz Racer are amazing. Really sharp bite and a good amount of feel through the pedal. Yes, it's only discs up front and drums in the back. The Hyundai i20 N-Line has disc brakes in the front and the rear. But if you don't need discs in the back, why add additional weight and cost to the product? It works fine. On the track, it was brilliant. I had such an amazing time braking. There are very few corners where you really need to brake hard at this coast circuit. Narayan Karthikeyan has designed it to be a very fast and flowing track, not a stop-go track like Kari Motor Speedway. And even MMRT has a few severely hard braking corners, hairpins and chicanes. The coast circuit has none of these, so we were pretty much flying through. Where we did have to brake, the feel was plenty. Really, really amazing brakes in this car. This is a car which begs to be driven hard, and it's not a car that you would go see it or look at in a showroom and make a decision on. It's a car that you would want to take for a very, very nice long test drive. And hopefully, Tata Motors organizes some experience track days at various tracks around India and get to have a chance to have a go on the circuit as well. One point which I do want to make is, while the dimensions are similar to the other Altroz, and you can check those reviews to kind of get a feel for the legroom and headroom, in this car, the addition of the sunroof and the ventilated seats, what it's done is it's made the seat a little higher than the other versions, and it's made the roof a little lower as well, and that really eats into your headroom. I was not able to do the hot laps around the track myself because I simply couldn't fit. Like, even without a helmet, I'm right there. I'm reclined more than I would like to, and there's no headroom for me, and I'm 6'2". And if you put a helmet on, there's just no way. I tried, reclining the seat further. I couldn't fit. So unfortunately, I couldn't drive the super fast laps that I wanted to. It was very disappointing. But I did get to have a go when we were doing the recording or the filming sessions, and I drove pretty fast at that time and got a nice feel for the car. So if you are 6 plus and you want to take this to the track, and you will need to wear a helmet, you might want to take a helmet with you to the showroom and check if you fit inside the car first before you pick up one of these cars. So an interesting thought I had when I was driving the I almost said Punto Abarth there. Driving the Altroz is that it reminds me so much of the Punto Abarth. That Punto Abarth was a beast. It had amazing steering feel, fantastic engine, amazing brakes. Like really, the brakes stood out. In terms of how that car stopped was amazing. And this Altroz reminds me most of that Punto Abarth. So if you were a fan of the Punto Abarth, which you sadly can't buy anymore, you will really love this car. So although this is not a direct injection like a GDI or a TSI or something, it feels better than the iTurbo, which had weird power delivery in the middle of the rev range. This is not as pronounced in the Altroz Racer. That delivery issues are not as pronounced. It feels very linear. I think the extra horsepower and the extra torque kind of pushes you through those flat spots in the throttle response. It feels really nice and linear to drive. With this kind of an engine response, what would probably be a little bit better if they had managed to do is reducing this flywheel effect. Is when you rev the engine, it takes a long time to, I don't know if you can hear that. So once you rev, it takes a long time for it to come back down to idle. So another aspect maybe to improve in future is to have a sharper throttle and less flywheel effect, so that it makes it more fun to drive around in a very aggressive manner. This Altroz Racer is an amazing looking car. It looks brilliant on the road. The Altroz in general is a very good looking car. In this color scheme, and I'm particularly in favor of this orange and black color scheme, it looks magnificent on the track. Just standing still, it looks beautiful. I'm sure that when you have a chance to go to the showroom and look at it, you'll kind of, be sucked into the way it looks and the effect of the sticker job and everything. While I'm not a big fan of the racing stripes, I think maybe they could have been offered as an optional accessory. I think they kind of work. I might have implemented the stripes on the bonnet a little bit differently on the hood. Instead of, kind of ending in a curve, I might have wanted them to go straight down to the grill. But you know what? It is how it is. It's part of the brand. It's part of their messaging from Tata Motors. Love it or hate it. If you're able to ignore, let's say you don't like the stripes and you're able to ignore how it looks, you will have an amazing time driving this car. That is for sure. The overall package seems to be really well made and well put together. Not too many little bit of a acceleration over there. It just breezes past 100 like nothing else. Anyway, coming back to the fit and finish, it feels very well made inside. Overall put together in very solid manner. So far in this car, which is quite new, nothing rattling and no sounds that would make me feel worried. Again, just feel like flooring it all the time. Overtakes are a breeze. Sorry, I'm just getting carried away by the driving experience. Not really looking to have a big, long conversation to the camera here. But it is a well-made car, and you will appreciate the added performance, the added, the engine performance, the brakes, the steering, the gearbox is so much better. And now it feels like a really, really sporty package, deserving of the name, the Racer, I guess. So who's the Altroz Racer for? Is it a car that you just have to keep driving fast all the time? No, it obviously isn't, right? It's very comfortable to drive at slow speeds around the city. Being a manual, you would imagine that it would be difficult to drive in stop-go traffic. But let me just show you what this engine is like in such a compact and light car. So I've come to a stop over here. I'm putting it in first gear. No throttle. My right foot is off the throttle pedal. I'm just letting go of the clutch. And it takes off. Right? So you don't have to dance on the pedals to keep it going in traffic. You just ease off the clutch and it has so much torque that it almost feels like it's a creep feature in an automatic. So it will be easier to drive in the city than most other manuals because of 170 Newton meters of torque in such a compact and light car. Not as comfortable as an automatic, but if that's the thing that's keeping you on the knife edge of deciding which way to go for it, because it's not as bad as it you might imagine to drive in traffic. So it's a great car to drive at slow speeds as well, around the city, around town. It's small enough that you can park it easily Now with the 360-degree cameras as well, parking in tight spaces is a breeze. So it's actually a very, very nice city car. It's kind of the car that you could take to work every day, and on a Saturday or Sunday go to for a track day, or just some spirited driving over the weekends. On the highways as well, it really holds its line. The steering weighs up so nicely. It's almost effortless to keep the car pointed in the right direction. Direction changes are so easy and precise. I can't wax enough lyrical about how good this car feels in pretty much every aspect: suspension, brakes, steering, engine. It's the complete package. I think this is the highest point of evolution that you might see in an Altroz. I mean, obviously, now that I've said it, in a couple of months' time, they may launch an automatic, with DCT and paddle shifters, and then I'll look like a complete idiot. But as of now, this is the nicest Altroz that you can buy. I don't know the prices yet and how it compares to an i20 N-Line when it comes to price. Visually, the i20 is different. It has a different aesthetic appeal. The Altroz has a different appeal. I think both are very exciting cars to drive. Both are very powerful for the size and the weight. And both are very compelling. In terms of features, you'll find a lot of parity between them. Maybe a few standout features like having ventilated seats in the Altroz, voice activated sunroof. Sound system, you have a Bose in the i20, you have JBL, and both sound pretty spectacular. So you're going to have a hard time choosing between the two. But one thing I can tell you is, if you want just one car for everything, you can't go wrong with either of them. And specifically this Altroz, it's so nice to drive and own. Why not? There are so many boring cars out there, and we keep making this mistake repeatedly. The Punto Abarth, nobody bought it. Fabulous car to drive, to look at. The whole ownership experience of it was so amazing, but nobody bought it. It was a failure. Then, Ford had a few hot hatches as well. The Fiestas, the Fiesta S, kind of not that successful. The problem is that we're all passionate about cars. We're passionate about driving, but when it comes to putting money on the table and saying, hey, you know what? That's kind of where we all stop and take a pause. And what ends up happening is now we have hardly any options, performance cars that we can drive, that we can even buy. Even the Polo GT is gone now. I think it's important to have this segment to stay alive. So even if it's your first car, or if it's a second or third car for you, consider the Altroz Racer or the i20 N-Line, whatever. But try and help keep this market alive, right? Because these kind of cars are special. I don't want to lose them. I don't want to see them go extinct. Many, many years ago, this exact stretch of tarmac, I drove a Punto Abarth very quickly, unreasonably quickly. And that's when, I really started to get an appreciation for these small hot hatches, the way you can throw them around these corners, the way they stop when you see a cow hop into the road in front of you, the way the steering feels in the hand. These cars come alive on roads like this. I've brought you somewhere special with me today, to a place where I cut my teeth on the racetrack, learning how to ride motorcycles on the track, racing schools and then open sessions, and really learning what it's like to be on a track. And the lessons that I've learned here have helped me out on the road as well. And this is the Kari Motor Speedway. And these are hallowed grounds where a lot of southern motorsports enthusiasts really learned how to drive on the track, to ride on the track. And it holds a special place in my heart. It's been a long time since I've come here. But being so close to Kari Motor Speedway, I had to make a pilgrimage. And what better car to do it in than the Altroz Racer? I can almost smell the two-stroke again. If there ever was a car that I don't have mixed feelings about, it would be the Tata Altroz Racer. It ticks all the right boxes: power, handling, braking, safety, airbags, child safety, child seat mounts, looks, sound system, sunroof. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless charging, ventilated seats. The list goes on and on, right? And I really don't want to give the keys back at the end of today's media drive. I really want to take this car home with me. And I guess that says a lot about how complete a package this Tata Altroz Racer is. I think it's truly amazing, and you really ought to go and check it out in the showroom for yourself. And let us know what you think in the comment section below, because that's what really matters at the end of the day. So once again, thank you for sticking around and putting up with my rambling. I really enjoyed today's drive. Thank you for watching Motoroids, and I'm Guru signing off, and see you in the comment section below. Cheers.